Many years ago, in a picturesque town of Mexico where time seems to stand still, lived a small innocent child that had no evil in her heart, but would be carefully observed by her parents, who were constantly haunted and terrified by their daughter's nightly prayers. The degree of fear from her parents grew so much to the extent that they warranted a call to the local priest to explain about their child's nightly ritual. Upon hearing what the parents had to say, the priest in turn believed that the parents were exaggerating the stories they would tell about their own daughter. One night, the priest was invited over for dinner to carefully observe the behavior of their daughter. After keeping a close eye on her for the better part of the evening, it was the priest's conclusion that there was nothing wrong with the young girl. In fact, she was innocent and a well-carried child in the clergy's eyes. That same night after dinner was done, sweet Alondra cleaned her plate and headed to her bedroom to prepare for bed. The parents then invited the priest to follow them to the outside of the child's room to listen closely at her prayer, which went something like this. "And please take care of my mommy, my daddy, my grandma, and my brothers. Also please take care of Lucifer, since no one else ever prays for him. I will be the one to do it for them. Amen." Upon listening to the prayer, the priest was both horrified and surprised. But even though she would pray for the devil, the priest found no fault in the child and simply ordered the parents to look after her and to keep a close eye on their child. Some time went by, and unfortunately the child got very sick. Her parents were extremely humble and could not afford to continue to pay for her medication, causing her to get worse as time went by. But even in her worsening condition, she would still not stop praying for the devil. "And please take care of my mommy, my daddy, my grandma, and my brothers. Also please take care of Lucifer. Since no one else ever prays for him, I will be the one to do it for them. Amen." On one fateful winter day, while her parents went out in search for food for her and her siblings, Alondra, in her weak state, suffered an accident and died. The family was so devastated and broke that they could not afford a proper burial for her and began to cry in despair over their own misery. Word quickly spread across town about the young woman's death, and not long after, and to everyone's surprise, a beautiful horse-drawn carriage decorated with red roses and crowns, being led by 6 strong Clydesdale horses, approached Alondra's humble home. Guiding the carriage sat a young light-skinned man. His hair was dark and he was dressed in a stylish black suit. The man was extremely handsome and tall, but what was most shocking about him was his bright red eyes that resembled burning embers. They were captivating and beautiful. He asked to be led to the body. The family agreed, and when he did, he gently picked her up, trying to hold back any tears he had. He placed her inside the carriage and drove her to the local church, where a vigil began in her honor. Sitting in the front crying for her was a young man, paying no attention to anyone around him, but instead he was focused on the small, humble white coffin. The child's parents had no idea who this man was, and no one in town could testify as to where he had came from. Questions began to arise about him, and as the proceedings went on, the man continued to cry inconsolably over the small dead body. Soon after, the funeral procession began to make its way towards the local cemetery, where the girl's family could only look in awe at the donation of the most majestic and beautiful tomb they had ever seen. As the child's body was lowered onto the final resting place, the young man let out a terrifying cry that scared the strongest men attending the funeral that day. Her parents didn't know what to do and wondered why the stranger felt so strong about their daughter. At that very moment, and as if he had read their minds, he turned his fierce but gentle stare towards them, and with deep pain he finally spoke and said, "For millions of years, this world has made me out to be the worst in human nature. They've called me thief, traitor, enemy, murderer. They call me the most offensive and blasphemous names they can come up with. But this small, innocent child, with her sweet and innocent heart and infinite love for all living things, will pray for me every night. And even though she will be punished for doing so, she never once stopped praying for me. The girl's parents began to think that the man was one of the child's teachers. Soon after, the man gave his final goodbye to Alondra, and as he was walking away, her father finally had the courage to ask him who the man was. Continuing to walk into the distance, the man turned around and said to all in attendance,
"If you want to know who I am, you must remember the end of all of your daughter's prayers. And please take care of Lucifer. Since no one else ever prays for him, I will be the one to do it for them."
And at that very moment, that man who came to visit the beautiful Alondra vanished without a trace in front of the entire congregation. It has since been over 200 years since Alondra was laid to rest, and many of the townspeople say that every 24th of February, the girl's tombstone is adorned with red roses without fail. There are some that have witnessed a handsome young man standing next to her crypt crying inconsolably over the young girl. I am Cryptid Hunter. I really hope you enjoy this story, and if you would like to hear more, please make sure to let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and help me share this channel. Thank you, have a great day, stay strange.